Yeah. I saw progression, um, a note about progression in Lot. Like
Hmm.
he starts off in Genesis 13, where he chooses, like he sees Sodom, it looks good. He goes there, he picks it out as the place he's going to go. Then in chapter, I think later in chapter 13, he has a tent, but it's not in Sodom.
Right.
It just says he has a tent that's pointing towards Sodom. It's like he's inching closer to Sodom. Then he gets to the point where he's living in Sodom, but he loses everything when Sodom is attacked, right? Then he goes back. Then he goes back to Sodom again, and now he's. It doesn't say he has a tent anymore. It's saying his house.
Mhm.
They enter his house, so he's
Yep.
living here, like he's established here.
Yep.
Um, I thought that like that progression was
Question.
interesting. That he was kind of like, yeah, I like this area, and now I've planted my roots here.
What is going on? XYZ is XYZ Nation. It's the crew right back at you. Generational scriptures in the building, doing the thing, and all the things. How many more sayings can I squeeze in here? None. So, today we are going through Genesis chapter 19. And the title of this is It's Raining Sulfur and Fire. So,
Hmm.
boom. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Not my
caught that
that's
most.
what you
one.
were trying to
You
do.
did?
I did.
Mm.
Oh, sweet. It's not as far fetched as I thought then. You all got it. Sweet.
Think like Chris.
What was that?
I said, think like Chris.
That's right. That's the only way to think. To be backwards like me. So, but anyway, enough about me and my supposed dyslexia. We need to do something, and that something is to introduce ourselves. So I am the latchkeyed one himself, the former X-Man representing Gen X, all up in the area, Chris. And in the upper, can I get it right? No, wrong side. Upper left corner, right corner, somewhere. We've got.
I am Moya, the resident millennial.
And then on the opposite side, we have.
Jasmine, your microwaver. And together we are.
Generational.
Scriptures.
That
Boom!
was good.
We adapt and we crush it. That's what we do here at Generational Scriptures. Got through our intro. Next up, we've got some tea that we'll get
Yes.
into before the Aight So Boom. So, Jasmine, if you don't mind, I know it's been steeping for a while and it's ready to go. I think I hear it pouring now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh, I have to do this too.
Water for the non-caffeinated folks.
Crazy. I really shouldn't even be drinking this many cups of tea today, but it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna
Then
act
put
like we
it
don't care.
down. Please put it down.
Last cup, promise.
Okay.
I only had two. So today, first, before we get into the meat and potatoes, I have my Keep Going Winston Churchill cup that I got for graduation two
Oh,
years ago.
cool.
My grandma gave it to me because she knows I love mugs. And inside my cup is boring. I have regular black tea with a little bit of lemon.
Oh, okay.
Really good though. It's kind of strong. I actually steeped 12 tea bags, not in this cup, in a big one, like in a really big one, and then I poured it in a pitcher, and that's what I had.
12 tea
Hmm.
bags in
Yeah,
anything aside from a vat of water is crazy.
so good though.
12 tea bags, though?
That's you
Goodness
Yes, it's
gracious.
sound
amazing.
like
My
my
tea
dad.
mugs. I love it. It's so good. You guys have to try it. Okay. Anyway, So,
12 is crazy.
I'm telling you, it's tasty. Anyway, to the meat and potatoes. So, I want to touch on something that we did talk about in our previous episode. So, if you haven't seen that, go watch that first and then come here. But I want to pull out a scripture actually. It is Genesis 18:25. And it said, oh, let me scroll down. It's far be it from you to do such a thing, to put the righteous to death with the wicked, so that the righteous fare as the wicked. Far be that from you, far be that from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do what is just? And the part that I'm going to highlight is, shall not the judge of all the earth do what is just? So I think, as I'm gonna specifically say non-believers, but even believers, sometimes I think we have questions about whether or not the Lord is fair. And um the question of fairness, like the understanding God's fairness, answers a lot of questions in the Bible, because really understanding God's character helps you understand a lot of what's in the Bible. So like unbelievers tend to question the Lord's fairness and justness, saying things like, how would the Lord deal with babies who died before they ever knew about Jesus, gospel? Or what about unbelievers who never got a chance to hear the gospel? Or like the mentally ill who aren't able to study and understand and learn the gospel? These questions that can they start to spark doubt, and all these is just different questions about if God is going to treat them fairly, or treat them the same way that he would us who study the Bible and are trying our best to build real, like, good relationships with the Lord. And if you, like, these kinds of questions really show that you aren't convinced that God is fair, in my opinion, because why else would those questions be posed? It's more, and I don't think that they are questions that really uh, are seeking answers. They're questions that tend to just cause doubt and confusion in the people who may not even be that strong in their faith, but are attempting, like myself in the beginning, when I was really like, I'm still trying to figure this out. Those kinds of things really would throw me for a loop. Like, huh,
Right.
yeah, because will the Lord actually? How will He handle these things? And I think that we see in Genesis 18:25, this question that comes up from Abraham is interesting, because there's so many other places in the Bible where we see the Lord's just and fairness. And in everything, being a Christian, what gives me hope and solace is that I know that like, I'm gonna take a point from Moyo. I don't need all of the flashy things to just trust that the Lord is just and fair. It says it in the Bible. I actually did some research. There's a bunch of scriptures. There's a ton. I'll have to give them to you, Chris, so they can go in the cards or whatever,
Okay.
in the show notes. There's a ton of scriptures that talk about how the Lord is fair, and like, if His fairness and justness, that is enough for me personally to just say this is the character of God. And once you are convinced of that, once you have that, you don't necessarily question the decisions and things that happen as much. And something that I actually heard was, until you understand that the Lord will always do what is fair and just, you'll always struggle bringing your issues to Him, because you'll start to feel like, I don't know, like, is He gonna do what's best for me? Is He gonna do what's best in this situation? Why should I pray? Because he might not do the what I as a human think is right. So that's a really important first step in developing a strong relationship with God, because it can interfere with your ability to uh transparently communicate with Him and to bring your problems and your worries to Him. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to highlight that. That's the first step. Understand that He is That's not a question. He is fair and just. And from there, you can start bringing your concerns to him and know that what is right will always be the outcome.
Right.
That's my
Right.
tea.
Yeah.
What is the thing that you do like that's
Like,
I don't even know what this means.
tea. It means like period. That
Oh,
was good.
oh really? Okay. I
Yeah.
thought it was
This is the
applause.
claps.
It's like a
I thought
clap.
this was the applause.
Okay.
This is the other one is you ate, right? You
Yeah.
ate that.
Oh
This is
gosh.
the
The different
applause.
fingers mean different things.
Yes,
Tea
they
was
mean
awesome.
different
I'm
things.
now I'm now I'm like completely gone.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
We'll
That
do
was
this one.
awesome. That's yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Thank
claps
you.
again.
Awesome. Awesome.
Tiny
Awesome. Thank
claps.
you. Oh man.
Can I add something to that? Because going, because we get comments now, I can see someone saying,
Mm,
you think God is just and fair, but, and they'll start listing all of the things that they feel are not just and fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when Abraham is saying this, the situation that's happening, we have to also remember that we as humans are not deserving of most of the things that God is allowing us to get. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where we get confused. Like, okay, maybe some people got killed for whatever reason, and you feel like that's not just and fair. Maybe there was a natural disaster, and you're like, God controls the elements. That's not just and fair. Why do you think that's not just and fair? Is it because of your own beliefs? You don't know the whole story, right? We only see what we can see, whereas God is above it all, watching and seeing every little thing. So in Sodom and Gomorrah's situation, he's going to see in chapter 18 what the outcry is. Even though he already knows, he's still taking that time to show us that it's not always just black and white. It's not always as simple as what Abraham is trying to say. Well, what about 10 people?
Right.
Yeah, there aren't 10 people. That's the point. The point is none of us are righteous the way that we think that we are. And so this is kind of proof of that in this place, Lot has been here. You would expect a few righteous people, right? But again, we are not as good. And I think we talked about being good in one of our episodes, where people think being good is enough, and without God, that is not enough. And so
mm,
that is something to keep in mind. So even if someone who you believe is good goes through something, someone who believes in Christ goes through something, maybe the just thing is for them to pass so that they can go meet God. If they were not good, maybe the good thing is, or maybe the just thing is that they don't, get whatever it is that they were asking for. Like there's so many layers to the conversation of what is just and what is good, and it's not for us to define. So I think, yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to say. I think I'm being clear, but I don't know, because now I'm saying I think a lot.
mm. No, I think you're being clear. Again, awesome. Thanks. That was good. That was good tea. And then what's the tea after chaser? Some biscuits. We're in
Mm,
London.
Mm,
Tea and
yeah,
crumpets. I don't know.
yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But what I do know is that we are about to get into our next episode following up that 12 tea bag steeped hot tea, which is our Aight So Boom segment. That Mother's going to take us
Yes,
through a recap of chapter 18 of Genesis.
yes. All right, so Genesis chapter 18, since I got to say all right, so now the Lord the Lord appears to Abraham again at the Oaks of Mamre. Um, this time it's in human form. There are three men. We know one of them at least is the Lord. At this point, we don't know who the other two are. Abraham goes to meet them. He bows himself to them. He is very hospitable. He gets water for them to wash their feet. He asks them if they want, like, to sit down and to join him so that they can prepare food. He asks Sarah to go and make cakes. He gets a young goat, I believe. And he has one of the servant boys prepare that. He gets milk, he gets curds, he gets all the fixings. He sets
All
it
the
up for
goods.
them. And He presents it to them, they eat, and he kind of stands there and watches. And after that is done, after that is done, a conversation starts about where is Sarah? And he's like, "Oh, Sarah's in the tent." And Sarah's in the tent. She's listening. She's has her ear to the to the streets, as they say. So she's listening to what's going on. And the Lord reiterates what we've been told multiple times, that they are going to have a son. This is going to happen next year. In chapter 17, they were told it would happen next year. Again, here, he's saying by this time next year, she will have a son. So she's not yet pregnant. We are assuming that the timeline between 17 and 18 is pretty close, since she's not pregnant yet. Um, Sarah hears this and she laughs, and she laughs to herself in her own comfort of her tent, minding her business, not minding her business, minding everybody's business, but also being like, don't be in my business. She laughs and she's like, I'm old, I'm worn out, I
Mm,
don't, I can't have kids right now. My periods are over. Like, none of that is, there's nothing biologically that would allow me to have a child.
right.
And the Lord hears and he says to Abraham, why is Sarah laughing? And she's like, whoa, 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 I'm not laughing. I did not laugh. And he said, but you did laugh. And just kind of reiterates that you will have a child this time next year. And from there, Abraham walks the three guests, out of his area, and they're walking towards Sodom and Gomorrah. And the Lord, and if you go back to that chapter, we talk about, is this a outward conversation or inward conversation? Who is the conversation with? Is it the Godhead? Is it with the angels? Is it
Mhm.
just in his mind? Um, but he's saying, should I let Abraham know what I'm about to do? And then he continues to inform Abraham of what is going on. Hey, we're about to go check out Sodom and Gomorrah. There's been a great outcry against them. I want to go see if it's, you know, if it's worth keeping them as a people, basically. So Abraham is concerned, and he says, wait a minute, aren't you, the judge of the earth? Shouldn't you be just? Which is what Jasmine was talking about in her tea. Would you destroy them if there were 50 people here? Then he goes to 45, then 40, then 45, then 30, then 20, then 10. And finally at 10, he's like, um, God is like, if it's 10 people, I will not destroy them. At each of these increments, the Lord is saying, I will not destroy them for the sake of those people. I will not destroy the whole city. I will spare the city for that. Um, and it ends there. And we talked at the end of that chapter about, was that negotiation a true negotiation, or was it for us to just learn a lesson about the character of God? And I would tell everyone to go back to that chapter, and listen. And if you have thoughts about it, go back there, comment, and let us know what you think. Because we did have a couple ideas that we threw out from there.
Mhm.
And that is Genesis chapter 18. And
All
now
right.
we are on to chapter 19.
Sweet. Whew. You know what, you two? You guys rock. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. So now we get into chapter 19 of Genesis. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
if we're ready, let's dig in.
All right, let me make sure I'm back. Okay. So, this is Genesis chapter 19, verses 1 through 3. The two angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. When Lot saw them, he rose to meet them and bowed himself with his face to the earth, and said, "My lords, please turn ahead to your servant's house and spend the night and wash your feet. Then you may rise up early and go on your way." They said, "No, we will spend the night in the town square." But he pressed them strongly, so they turned aside to him and entered his house. And he made them a feast and baked unleavened bread, and they ate.
All right. Why was Lot sitting at the gate, y'all? I don't know. That's a question I don't know the answer to. It's just weird. I guess like you just out there sitting waiting for people to come up.
Mm-hmm, right.
Um, it also made me
Well,
think of the. Go ahead. You
Go ahead.
had
Go ahead. I
something.
think you're about to say that what I was about to say. Go ahead.
It made me think of the people in when we looked through Ruth and where all the
Mm,
business was done at the gate. Was that
yeah.
what you were getting ready
Mm.
to say?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Look at that. I don't know, Mario. If we starting to think alike,
I don't know if that's a good thing.
I don't either. You don't want to be brought down to my level. So, what else do we see in those first couple of verses?
More hospitality, I feel like.
Yeah.
No, it's just I was gonna say like the washing of the feet we saw last
Hmm.
chapter. The inviting to his house. Now, this is like slightly different. Seems
Hmm.
like the distance from where they are from the house is farther this
Okay.
time.
Yeah,
Maybe, I don't know.
that makes sense.
But like turn aside to your servant's house. Like he was adamant, like, come on, I will serve you. And then he did. He made them a feast and baked unleavened bread. So
Yeah.
it just seems like more cultural hospitality.
Go ahead, Mario. You look like you got
I
something.
was gonna, well, I don't know what you were about to say, but I was gonna ask the question again about what about these angels makes Lot bow to the ground. Does he know that they're angels? Does he know who they are? Because we talked about that in the last chapter. Why is Abraham esteeming them so much, and Lot is doing the same? Because we're
Hmm.
thinking strangers that are coming into a town, irregular. I mean, there has to be something about them that makes you think royalty or something, like something that's making them stand out. Because do you bow to the ground to everybody that comes into town, or do you bow to the ground to people who seem to be important?
Yeah, that's a good question. And my answer to that is I think we need to look at a customs book. There are books that talk about the customs. There's actually Manners and Customs is the name of the book that talks about um, cultural things, right, that happened in the ancient Near East. And so, because what I'm
Hmm.
wondering is two things. The question I was getting ready to ask is how does what Lot is doing compare to what Abraham did? Because I think you're right to point out, Jasmine, that we get some more hospitality. But I don't know if you all think this or picked up on it, but there's a marked difference between the way that Lot greets them and their response compared to the way that Abraham greets them in their response. And
Mm-hmm.
so the couple of things that they have in common are they both bowed, they both said, wash your feet, and then come and stay here until you get on your way. To me, Lot seems a lot more like get in so I can get you out, where Abraham
Mm-hmm.
seemed a little more inviting and welcoming. I don't know whether that's me reading into stuff or not. So, because the fact that back to what you were saying, because of the fact that they bowed and both of them did that the same, I wonder if that's just the custom in the way that they treat people who are foreigners to them. That's all I can think of. And I think Manners and Customs book would be might have some entry in that in terms of how outsiders were treated when they enter the city.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so if we get back, what do you all think about the differences in the treatment of them? Am I making too much of it, or?
I
No, I
would
didn't notice
say
that. Oh, go ahead.
I was a difference that I saw is that Lot is inviting them to come inside.
Hmm.
Abraham was kind of like, I'll bring the things to you. Like it was, he's not surrounded by the chaos that Lot is. Lot is like, no, 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 come in, come to my house, come to my house.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in Abraham's situation, it's like, relax, go lay,
Yeah,
sit under the tree. We talked about country versus city
city. Good
when they
point.
were choosing their sides, right?
Yep.
Abraham is in the country. You can
Yep.
be outside, you can chill, you can just enjoy the fresh air. Where Lot is in a city, which we know is a corrupt city, and the guests are in the town square saying they want to stay here. And he's like, I don't think you want to stay here. Like,
Right.
this is not that type of situation where you could just go find a place and stay. You shouldn't find a place and stay.
Yeah.
And so he's like, he presses them to, no, come with me, come
Yep.
to
Yep.
my house
Yeah.
specifically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think to your what you had said, Jasmine, about it seemed further, I think that makes sense for exact reason Moyo said. The tent was right there. They walked right up on him. Here, they're
Mhm.
at a gate in the city, and then the house of Lots is going to be somewhere inside the city. So they're going to have to travel back and forth. And I think that even that answers some questions later in terms of knowledge gaps. So, um, why do you think why do you think the angels refused his hospitality?
Mm.
Because I've read in the commentary and it's in the notes, and you'll see it that um, usually what happens is if I'm a stranger going to a city, I'm looking for a house to stay in, right? I'm looking for a place to stay because I don't want to be relegated to the town square, right?
Mhm.
Where I'm out in the open fighting the elements and whatever other stuff is going on there. But for whatever reason, with what Lot gave and offered, their initial response was, no, we'll just go to the town square, which I find odd, you know?
But they were there for a mission, right? They were there to figure out what the issue in this city. So in order to do that, would I would need to be at the center,
You think
right?
you need to
You
be
would
at the
think,
town square?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
So you don't think it had anything to do with his invitation or what he said? No.
I didn't, and I
Okay.
don't really think so now. I think they went there for a specific reason. Um, yeah, they went there for a specific reason, and they're trying
Hmm.
to do what God told them to do, which
And that
is
makes sense, right?
go see what's
That
going on
makes
over
sense.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else here? Bottom line
Um,
is Lot is being the hospitality. These men, they just keep going out being hospitable to folks.
yeah, I saw progression. Um, a note about progression in Lot. Like
Hmm.
he starts off in Genesis 13, where he chooses, like he sees Sodom, it looks good. He goes there, he picks it out as the place he's going to go. Then in chapter, I think later in chapter 13, he has a tent, but it's not in Sodom.
Right.
It just says he has a tent that's pointing towards Sodom. It's like he's inching closer to Sodom. Then he gets to the point where he's living in Sodom, but he loses everything when Sodom is attacked, right? Then he goes back. Then he goes back to Sodom again, and now he's. It doesn't say he has a tent anymore. It's saying his house.
Mhm.
They enter his house, so he's
Yep.
living here, like he's established here.
Yep.
Um, I thought that like that progression was
That's
interesting. That he was kind of like, yeah, I like this area, and now I've planted my roots here. So we sometimes think about, or what I was thinking about is like, why didn't he leave? And maybe this is a later thing because there's a hesitation from him later, and it's like, no,
hmm
he has a house here. He doesn't have a tent that he's picking up and packing up and moving. He's
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is
He's
his
established.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It also makes me wonder what is that? Psalm 1? Yeah, it
It's like
is.
the progression of the comfort
Yep.
levels that you have with sin, or is it
Yeah.
sin? I don't know what the
That's the first thing that came to my mind. Psalm 1, verse 1. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. That progression sort of made me think of that verse. But his
yeah.
delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what came to mind. So that's an interesting take of that progression, because when we talked about it when they separated, his world could have been completely different had he made a different choice.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But he went the way that he went, and he is where he is. All
Yeah,
right.
unfortunately.
Anything else on these first three verses? All right. Next up.
All right. Genesis chapter 19, verses 4 to 11. But before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both young and old, all the people to the last man, surrounded the house. And they called to Lot, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us, that we may know them." Lot went out to the men at the entrance, shut the door after him, and said, "I beg you, my brothers, do not act so wickedly. Behold, I have two daughters who have not known any man. Let me bring them out to you, and do to them as you please. Only do nothing to these men, for they have come under the shelter of my roof." But they said, "Stand back." And they said, "This fellow came to sojourn, and he has become the judge. Now we will deal worse with you than with them." Then they pressed hard against the man Lot and drew near to break the door down. But the men reached out their hands and brought Lot into the house with them and shut the door. And they struck with blindness the men who were at the entrance of the house, both small and great, so that they wore themselves out, groping at the door.
All right, go. I'm just gonna sit back. Y'all got it. I'm not gonna say a word.
Groping at the door when you're already blind is a little crazy. Like, go home, bro. Go
Get
home.
away. That was
No,
yeah.
it's still a lot.
There's a lot
So
in there. Go ahead.
let's see. I had tell me if you guys saw the same thing, but for this um like section of verses, the first thing that I wanted to like point out is the word no. So like
Mm-hmm.
to know someone is like to have sexual relations with them, right? So
Hmm.
when they said that they wanted to know them, yeah, bring them out to us that we may know them. I was like, huh? But then when one of the commentaries was telling me that the like Sodom then and he said now, I can't verify that, I don't know, but then in that area now are known for sodomy, which is sexual relations between two men.
Okay.
I'd never heard it referred to as that, so I don't know. But he was saying that that is like it was men trying to have sexual relations with these men.
Yep.
And when he said, here is my daughters, like, okay, so we're sacrificing. Granted, okay, so let me back up. In their culture, he did emphasize that they take better care of those that come into their homes
They do.
than those already in their homes. It's just that's just how they operate. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not far fetched to think that to say that do what you will with the people already here, but don't touch these people. Got that? But do my daughter? No one has known my daughters, so here you go. That was kind of crazy. Not gonna lie. It came off crazy to me. Like that's
It
your
is.
daughter, your own children. Oh my
It
goodness,
is
that was a lot.
Yeah.
crazy. It's
The,
not that it comes off crazy. It is crazy. And I don't think that it's justified in any way. Like,
Right.
similar to when we talked about um Abraham just giving up Sarai, or Abram giving up Sarai to the Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Why? Like, why are y'all why are y'all doing too much? It's
oh,
just
yo,
too
you look so
much.
stressed.
I am stressed because we actually got a comment where that said, um, women shouldn't be in religion because religion hates y'all. And this is the kind of stuff that would make people think that. Because
Mm,
Agreed.
you're just gonna give up your daughters just like that for some strange men that you don't even know. That's a crazy thing to even write down. Like, why is that a thing?
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a little
It's a lot.
ridiculous. And
Yeah. I think we have to remember when we're reading, there are things that are descriptive, I may have said this before, and prescriptive, right? Meaning that if it's descriptive, it's just telling you about what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
right? It's not trying to tell you that this is something that the Lord
It's
necessarily,
right.
right, aligns with, or sometimes it may not even be fairly obvious that it's something that he hates, but it's just something to give you an idea of what is going on. And that carries on throughout scripture. I mean, even into a lot of the history books like Acts, you'll get, descriptive versus prescriptive. Prescriptive is the Lord says for you to do X, Y, or Z. Or as a follower of the way in the New Testament, you should do this. As a child of Israel, as a member of Israel, you are to live this way. Those are prescriptive things. So we have to make sure we have that distinction. Not saying that it makes it any easier to deal with these types of passages, but we
Mm-hmm.
do have to keep that in mind as we're going through it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, this whole passage is just crazy. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, these guys they ate good feast, bad feast. We just talked about it. Don't know exactly which. But they can't even get to bed before they've already got. And did you all notice how it describes the people who have come out? Men of the
Yeah.
city. So these are men of this city of Sodom, right? Where they have
Mhm.
come out. The men of Sodom. And then it says both young and old. Almost like no man was left out of this group that was coming to besiege the house of Lot. And then to make sure you understand it's everybody, all the people to the last man. So when we think back
Mhm.
to chapter 18 where it talks about that outcry, just imagine if you are a person who came into the city unawares of what's going on and you just get mobbed by this group of people. So we talked about Lot did do something before he just threw his daughters under the bus, which I think tells us that he definitely does not align with what they're doing. Um,
Yeah.
he says, I beg you, he calls them my brothers, which is interesting. But I beg you, my brothers, do not act so wickedly in verse 7, after he comes outside and he shuts the door behind him. So what do y'all
Mm-hmm.
think about the fact that he said that? Does that mean anything to you? That he was
Yeah.
like, don't do this with wickedness?
What
It means nothing to me because immediately after he's saying, I have two daughters.
Yeah.
There's no pause. There's no waiting for a response. This is a part of the same thought.
Hmm.
Yeah. I tried a lot. I agree with you, Lot.
Well,
Did you
see,
think something
okay.
different, Jasmine?
I kind of like for a second it made me think about where his heart posture is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just even him mentioning it, and then even going back, like him bringing the men to his house, kind of like if they're like okay, to Moyo's point earlier, if there's a lot going on, a lot of crazy things going on in the city, he's like okay, come back to my space. It seemed to me like he was like trying to pull them away from all of the things going on, like all of the negative things going on around in the city. And then for him to say don't act wickedly, I really was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, like maybe he was having like he had a some kind of transformation of his heart while he was in Sodom. I don't know, but I tried to give him that benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I
Now
can
when
see
he
that.
said here are my two daughters, even then, even though that's insane, I still was thinking like if this is customary to protect, like it is his daughter, so we can't say that it's not his daughters, but if let's just say like people in your house, you're supposed to treat anyone who comes to your home better than those who already are in the home. I was like, it's kind of like he's following whatever is customary.
Yeah,
Still crazy, still
it's still
crazy.
crazy. Yeah,
Very much not justified.
yeah,
But that's I kind of was giving him just a little bit of grace, just a
yeah.
little.
It's weird, right? Because I think we've seen this. We've gone backwards, right? But I think we've seen like something that resembles this two times in Genesis 37 through 50.
Hmm.
The first thing, what's the oldest son's name? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. It's not Benjamin. He's the youngest.
Reuben.
Ru-
Reuben
Reuben? Yeah, I
or
think it is
Judah?
Reuben. No,
Yeah,
Judah's the
it's
fourth, I think.
Reuben.
Yeah,
Reuben.
Reuben. Remember, it made me think one of when Reuben was like, if I don't bring Joseph back, you can have your grandchildren, right?
Oh yeah.
This is like, come on, really? You going to throw them out there under the bus like that?
Yeah.
And then it made me think of Tamar and Judah as well, because while Tamar may have been justified and rightly wronged sounds so hideous, and was wronged by Judah, what she went about to reconcile, the way she went about reconciling that wrong, you can look at as being a little questionable,
Hmm.
right?
Mm.
And so here we are way back in Genesis, and we're seeing something that's just like, this doesn't make sense. And then hear me out on this. What makes what makes does this is this different from what is it, Genesis 16 with Hagar and Sarai?
It is different. It's
They're
similar but different.
yeah. So I'm wondering, like, the one thing that comes to my mind is they're both, I think, trying to do something that's right, but the manner and the things that they take on to try and accomplish that right thing are just completely,
Wrong.
yeah, they're not what you would expect as the norm,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's I'm gonna stop there and let you all talk and
Hmm.
and because I'm waiting. Come on, give it to me. What you got? Come on.
I'll say in Abram's situation with Hagar,
Mhm.
wrong because Hagar doesn't get a say.
Right.
This situation is magnified to me. Like I think in the beginning we are talking about exponentially worse. Like you go from him sleeping with this one girl to extend his line, which is their custom, blah blah blah, whatever. But it's
Right.
still she still doesn't get a choice.
Right.
Two, you're gonna give your two daughters up to a mob of men, the whole city, every man in this city,
Mhm.
to do whatever they please
Oh
with your
gosh.
two daughters. That is
Okay.
not the
You
same.
win. When you say it, I can't. I can't even try and
It's not the
keep it.
same.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Let me try and grasp something out of this. But I think what we see is that whenever we try to carry out what we think is right by doing wrong means, it just doesn't sit well.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, I think we see that a lot today, where people will say this is what needs to happen, but then, you know, tell lies to get what they expect to happen for the Lord, to get
Hmm.
it done, like the Lord can't do it himself through some other means, right?
Yeah.
So
And Lot, I would say Lot cannot know that they are angels. Like we were talking about in the beginning, does he know that there's something? He
I
can't know
do.
they're angels.
I
There's
do.
no way he believes they're any sort of, what's the word? Uh, I don't know. What are angels? Like any sort of like that they
They're
aren't,
not angels, not messengers from God.
yeah, but I
Celestial.
still believe he thinks there's some sort, that's the word I was thinking about, but I was like, is that right? I don't know. But I still think he believes they are some sort of royalty or some sort of higher, like, important people. But he cannot know that they're angels because otherwise, I wouldn't be the one to walk outside if I know you're an angel.
Yeah.
I'm not standing up for an angel. You got it. Like, you go ahead.
You go handle your business, homie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think he knew that they were angels, Jasmine?
I
No.
don't, but I don't know because again, yes, we see all this great hospitality. It could be it is cultural, but I also was thinking, like you're doing a lot for two strange random people that you don't if you don't know that they are somebody very important. Now, would I offer my daughters if I knew that there were angels in my house? Probably not. So that's why I'm like, maybe not. Maybe they didn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I don't have the same conflicting thoughts as I did with Abraham thinking that like knowing whether he was talking to God. In this
Okay.
instance I would say, yeah, likely not.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I do. What I would give Lot is, I don't know how you all feel. I think you actually already said this, Jasmine. That I agree with you in the fact that I think Lot was trying to keep them out of harm's way by bringing them to his house. And even here, you can see the responsibility that a person has for those under his roof, because
Mhm,
Lot says it. Um, in verse 8, towards the end, it says, and only do nothing to these men, for they have come under the shelter of my roof. So I think that's pointing back to Lot wanting to having responsibility for the safety, as he thinks, men who have come into his house for shelter. So he's
mhm,
doing his best, and he's just making all sorts of mistakes.
yeah.
I wonder how we get to that point. Where you know what's wrong, but you still want to use anything but what the Lord. I liken it to, I know what the Lord wants, so I know the Lord's commands. I know the Lord's ordering of my steps, meaning my walk, how it should be and how it shouldn't be. But to get this right, I got to do these wrongs. How do I get to that point? Is a question I have. And I don't know that we're going to answer it, but it's a big question in my mind. Cuz
Mm.
do you do you have some sort of cognitive dissonance which says somehow you're separated from what it is? Do you think that because you are in this air quotes right standing with God, I believe that that gives me the permission to go and do things that are outside of his will, that are sin to him, to get things to line up with the way that he wants? Um,
Mhm,
do I think that somehow he doesn't see this? And or as I like to say, that the ends justify the means, which I think was the second argument, right? So it's so many things. And again, I don't know that we'll answer it, but I wonder about those things, partly because I don't want to fall into that. So I'm trying to examine myself at the same time.
mhm,
But then with the actions of people who call themselves, followers of the way or Christians who do certain things, it's like, how do I deal with you now? You know? All right.
mhm.
So I've ranted enough. Um, so we've talked to that. Anything about the response of the men that strikes you in here? How did the men respond to Lot?
Like, they thought he was kind of feeling himself. Like, you came here. actually a stranger as well. You're not from here. So why do you think you can judge us? Like this is how we do our things here. Who are you to say we can't do what we want to do and what we've been doing?
Yeah. Yeah. So when you take that into your progression, because we talked about making the decision, not having the tent outside, getting caught up with all the Sodom people, then moving into Sodom, and now here, it's like you really aren't part of Sodom. You aren't part of us.
Mm, that's crazy. And then he calls them their his brothers at the top.
Yep.
So I that was conflicting and confusing for me because how are these your brothers? But yeah, I guess it's possible. But how are these your brothers? But they still look at you as an outsider.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. The way he sees them is not how they see him,
Now
and
they
that's
see
the
Yes,
him.
problem.
exactly.
Right.
Lot is invested in these people for whatever reason, and he's staying here for whatever reason. They do not care about him. Like, yeah, they're sparing his family,
Yeah.
I'm assuming, because they haven't been harassed, but they don't care about you. Like, they're just letting you stay here. You're a
Yeah.
sojourner, stay, but you don't belong.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That to me was a little sad because I think he's been trying to figure out where to be, where to stay, and now he's moved into a place, and they're like, all right, as long as you're doing what we want you to do, and don't cause any ripples in the pool in the pond, right? Okay, but once you start causing ripples,
Uh,
we're
now
gonna
you're making
treat
me
you
feel
differently.
bad for Lot.
No, no, I don't want us to feel bad for Lot because I think his decisions have been horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm feeling bad for Lot because we have to remember that in the beginning his dad dies, right?
Yes.
Then his granddad dies.
Yeah. You think he got
Then
daddy issues?
Mm-hmm.
he might. Then the person who is his father figure is like, leave me alone, go over there. Like that actually sounds terrible. It sounds like this is why Lot is staying here because nobody loves him, nobody wants him,
Ah.
and now he's in the middle of this city and
No,
he's
no,
just
no, no, no,
like,
no. I
I'm gonna
disagree.
stay here.
Abraham did not pose the question to him like you got to go.
He said, "Go pick a side. You go over there. I go over here, so we don't fight." That's how it was posed to him. It wasn't like we can figure this out. We can share this land. Let's just spread out amongst each other. We can all live happily. That's not how he posed it. He posed it as it's enough space for everybody. You go, and I'll be over here. That's
And
how.
then
That's how it was
okay,
posed.
but
But he always had his back. But that might not be how Lot sees it. Lot might not see it that way. Even though Abraham is constantly watching out for him, that doesn't mean that's how he sees it.
I don't know. Yeah, okay, all right.
I'm thinking of
I'm
trying to I'm
yeah.
trying to make him like a person, right? If you go through all of these things, because he is a person,
He
you
is a
go through all
person.
of these things, you have your uncle who is your last like father figure, but you're away from him. So you don't have the same counsel you would have had if you were under him. Abraham was given a blessing, which we don't know if Lot knows about or not, but
Right.
you
You
don't
said that.
get to be that because you aren't with him. It's like those that bless you will be blessed, those that curse you will be cursed, but Lot is
Mm-hmm.
not a part of that anymore. Lot
Mm.
is separated. Lot was not
Mm.
part of the people who got circumcised. Lot was separated.
You were separated.
Lot
Right.
doesn't, we don't know what Lot knows and doesn't know. We
Yeah.
know that he's trying his best in this city. And there was actually a verse in Peter where it talks about him being
Yep.
tormented by the wickedness of Sodom. But it's like, if it's that bad, to me, I'm saying, why don't you go?
Right.
But then
Mm-hmm.
you're like, maybe there is a deeper reason as to why he doesn't go. And maybe we need a
Maybe.
therapist to come and talk about it.
Yeah, maybe I don't know if they had therapy back in those days, but
Yeah.
yeah, I see what you're saying, but I can't excuse him for his choices.
I'm not excusing him. I'm just feeling like, okay, some of this might make more sense. I'm not excusing him because
And let me be
he
careful
did a
because I
lot.
haven't made the greatest choices in life all the time either. But
Mhm.
I'd like to think so, and I think that's the thing, right? Because you bring up a very good point. I'd like to think that right now I've got enough at my good old age of 55 that I've got enough backbone to be like, yeah, look, this isn't working. I can't mess with you guys. You know you're wrong. Being willing to stand on that without doing a bunch of other stuff to try and appease folk.
Mhm.
And then
But
if I
you have
needed to,
community.
hmm?
You have community, and you have some. You still have. I think you still have. There are things that you have that I don't think Lot has in this.
Yeah, but so and true. I'm not going to debate that. I get what you're saying with that. But at what point do we take that stand, regardless of whether we've got community or not? Right is right.
You also, well, you also have a relationship with God. That,
Mm-hmm.
and again, we don't know what Lot's relationship is. We don't know his whole story to be able to say what his true stances are. Like there's a lot of what ifs in Lot's
Well,
story that allow that make it harder to just be like, yeah, you should just do this. Just like in the Tamar story, I gave her a lot of grace because I felt like she was not a, a Christian or a believer of God. She did not believe in God at the time where she had her little plot. She was from a whole nother group of people. She was from a
mm-hmm.
group of people that they said do not mix with.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So I gave her more grace because of that. And I think now in Lot's situation, he is Abraham's, nephew, but that doesn't Abraham's relationship with God is not Lot's relationship with God. You don't
Exactly.
get that automatically.
No, you don't. You don't. Even if you
So
will be blessed, you still need to have your own relationship. I don't think that's
Mhm.
changed. But
yeah,
that does not negate the fact that Lot understands the behavior of those people in Sodom is not good.
yeah. And he's
Right.
tormented by it, but he does not leave.
Right. I mean, and he tells them not to act wickedly. Don't do this thing. So if you
Yeah,
know that they do it, and again, I think we've said before, right? To be in a situation is then to know exactly what you do. But prayerfully, I've got enough gumption in me. How's that for an old Gen X word? Gumption. I bet you that's even a boomer's word. To be like, nah, I can't. I need to leave. I can't be in this type of situation. You all know that you're wrong. I would
leave
hope
and
that
go
I've got.
where?
I don't know. But, I mean, we already said he got herds and stuff. Take your herds and, I don't know, don't go back to Mamre. Go somewhere else. But maybe he ain't got him because anymore because he bought himself a house. Who knows? But I don't know.
Yeah.
I just hope that you would be maybe more like um um Daniel and Shadrach,
Meshach.
mess up the second name, Meshach and Abednego, right? Where, yeah, I don't care what the king says. There's something that's right, a right way unto the Lord. I'm going to do what's right unto the Lord rather than be worried about what all these other folks are thinking. Um,
Mhm.
again, I'd hope I'd be that way, but who knows? Um, I want to say we touched on all the things, right? Touched on the men, all of them coming out. Touched on what they want. Touched on Lot and his actions. Oh, and then the angels have to do a saving number for Lot, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think you mentioned this. They had to reach out, pull him in the house, and then At this point, I think Lot knew he just wasn't dealing with regular men.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's like everybody's going to be blind, so much so that they can't even get to the door.
Yeah. That would have
All right,
scared me a little bit.
all right, ready to move on? Anything else?
Oh. Oh.
All right. Genesis chapter 19, verses 12 through 14. Then the men said to Lot, "Have you anyone else here? Sons in law, sons, daughters, or anyone you have in the city? Bring them out of the place, for we are about to destroy this place, because the outcry against this people has become great before the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it." So Lot went out and said to his sons in law, who were to marry his daughters, "Up, get out of this place, for the Lord is about to destroy the city." But he seemed to his sons in law to be jesting. Oh my goodness gracious.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. I see everybody just shaking their heads like, and whew. All right. So if you didn't know they were angels because they blinded everyone, I think he's got to know now,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So what do we think about what's happening here?
So first, I thought it was interesting that the son. Okay, so he has sons-in-law who were to marry his daughter. So does that mean that he picked them? Because if there, no one knew his daughters, but these are sons-in-law
Oh
who
yeah,
were
yeah, I
going
see
to
what you're
marry
going.
his
I see
daughter.
what you're going.
How is that?
They're engaged to be married. I guess the custom back then is that you get betrothed, betrothed, something like that. One of those
Betrothed,
words. Betrothed. What?
betrothed. I
Okay.
can't even say it now. Betrothed.
Betrothed? Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. So they would be in a period of figuring out or like doing all of the customs and rituals in order to marry marry them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like now they would be like fiance, but
Yeah.
fiancés, but it means a lot. It means it's a little different now than it would be then. Because right now, when you're a fiance, you aren't married,
Right.
and it's not binding.
Yeah.
But then it was. That's why he's saying sons-in-law. So you all are ready to be married. You're fiancés, right?
Mm,
They've been betrothed, and so I'm considering you my son-in-law.
Yeah.
And
okay.
then the wedding will happen, and then that's when all the moving and all of that stuff happens. But they're still looked at as being each other's.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
like when Jesus and Mary, Jesus and Mary, but yeah, Jesus, Mary and Joseph,
Right.
Mary and Joseph being betrothed to be married, and then he had to like divorce her, even though they never did
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Very good point.
mm, okay. Okay.
Yep. Uh, so we got that. They're about to destroy the place. So this makes me think back. This makes me think of two things. And let me know what you all think. This makes me think back to Genesis 18 and the countdown, right? So the city is still going to get destroyed, but the Lord has chosen Lot and anyone associated with Lot, sons in law, sons, daughters, or anyone you have in the city to actually get out of there. I mean,
Hmm.
I want to say in that set was it is it in that same Peter where he was tormented? Does he call Lot righteous too?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. And so it's like in comparison, even though I don't even think it's that. I don't know. I think I worked that one out in my head. But Lot to this other group of people would be considered righteous. So is this what you would think as God dealing with the righteous justly,
Mm.
but in a way different than Abraham was talking?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand.
So he's not sparing the city on account of them, but he is pulling them out so
He's
that they
getting
don't
it
get destroyed with them.
right. So is that the justice? Is that God being just
Oh, yeah, I
to
would
the
say
righteous?
so. I would say
Yeah.
so, but then I'm confused. What makes these people righteous?
The
Lot,
Lord
what
is
makes
what
Lot
makes.
righteous?
What was that?
Are you
Well,
asking what makes Lot righteous?
no, like what makes the people associated with Lot righteous? Because anyone is very different than your family.
Yes, it is, which is interesting to me too. I
But
mean, think back to Noah, right? Why was everybody able to get on the ark? I think it's because of Noah. And then because of Noah, his sons and his wife and his sons' wives were able to get on the ark, right? Because of their relation to them. I almost see
Mm-hmm.
the same type of thing here. I'm going to spare a lot. Righteousness, I'm starting to it's hard because even the way he ends up is just weird. I just know that Peter says it, so I got to go with it, right? Peter calls him righteous, and I think he's calling him righteous. And correct me if I'm wrong, Moyo. In context of Sodom, right? So if we're going to
yeah,
consider him
so
righteous, even in that context, did I get that right?
well, it says, and if he rescued righteous Lot, greatly distressed by the sensual conduct of the wicked, for as that righteous man lived among them day after day, he was tormenting his righteous soul over their lawless deeds that he saw and heard. So it's not against them, it's just he's right there.
Just
He's saying he's
call him
righteous.
righteous.
Yeah, and he in that same second Peter, he talks about Noah. Like he's pointing out people that God has kind of called righteous to say that God is going to spare the
Right.
righteous.
Yeah. That's ooh,
Mm.
that's good. That's good. That's good. Ooh, that's good. I need that tomorrow. Um, but again, it takes me back to the other thing. I think whenever, and it's hard to think about a lot, but righteousness isn't something that we can work for or attain on our own.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the whole point of Ephesians 2:8-9. That's the whole point of the law. The law was put in place as Paul says in Galatians to be a school teacher, to be a schoolmaster, to show you that you are a sinner, and in that case, need to have your sins dealt with because there's no way I can keep all of this law. So
Mm.
righteousness is appointed by the Lord, and I think we said this earlier, taken from Christ and then brought back to apply to. I'm gonna take the word as his word to Lot, to Noah, to Abram or Abraham, right?
Hmm.
So in that case, it is the Lord dealing with his righteous and sparing his righteous
Yeah.
folks. As crazy as it seems, that's what's happening. So yeah. And so back up to your original question, Jasmine, what I would say is that because of who Lot is and the way that Lot is looked at as righteous and having Christ's righteousness brought back to him at that time, it's like back to the future type of thing that has an impact on everybody else around them, just like we saw with Noah.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Okay.
that's the
Yeah,
best I got.
yeah. I think the
So
contrast we're seeing is that the son-in-laws don't believe,
yeah,
and that's unfortunate for them.
but I also have to wonder because they made no point. I don't know if this was hyperbole or not, but they made no point. The writer made no point of eliminating anybody from that mob of men who came out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, were you
And
there? Weren't you there? Were
Mm-hmm.
you there banging on the door trying to get in, or weren't you? I don't know. But I don't know that I read that as hyperbole. I think that I read that as the reason for the outcry being as bad as it is, because it's a great outcry and it's repeated here. has become great before the Lord.
Mm.
But for whatever reasons, the son-in-laws think he's jesting.
Yeah. I wonder if they are. I wonder how old the son-in-laws are.
Yeah, I don't
Because
know.
we are saying men, young and old. But what
Hmm.
is a man in their culture? Like for us, a man is, I guess, 18. But maybe for the do Jews, is it 13? Like once you do your bat mitzvah and all that, you become a man. I don't know if it's 13 or 11 or somewhere in
I,
between.
yeah, I don't remember. I think it's like 13 or 14 when you do the bar mitzvah and you are, supposed to do all the things of the law. That's what, if I remember that correctly, that's what happens. Um, Another way that people look at it is, you remember in the wilderness where it talked about the generation having to be done away with before they can enter the promised land. Like, how old
Mm.
were those folks? And they think they were a little older than 13.
Mm,
So,
Mm.
um, I'm not sure. But the fact that it says young and old, I think, to your point, once you have come to the point of being recognized as a full-fledged adult male, whether it's 13 or whether it's 18 or 25 or whatever it is, from them all the way up, um, that's who it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be all inclusive, but I don't get the feeling that it's hyperbole. At least nothing I read said that it's being hyperbolic, like trying to make a point by expanding and making the number big so that you're really like, whoa. I don't think
Mm.
that's what's happening here. At least nothing I read said that.
I think something I read did say that it was an
That was hyperbole.
exaggeration. Yeah, like it was, and I don't know what translation of the Bible that person uses. So I didn't actually look into it that deep because I thought of it as everybody, but also like we're saying everybody, like everybody's included, similar to how we in Joseph's story we say all the brothers, but then you find out this brother wasn't there or this
Right.
brother wasn't there. Like it's
Okay.
all of them, but there could be stragglers here and
Mm.
Hmm.
there. But it's not because they wouldn't join, it's because they just didn't happen to be there.
Yeah.
Mm.
So maybe that's something else. We need a manners and customs book, and we need to look up whether this is hyperbole or not. There's one other thing that made me think about something else we've gone through in this podcast. The fact that two things. The fact that Lot went out and basically tried to bring people to safety, and they said no. It made me think one of Jonah, who goes to Nineveh because they're about to get destroyed. But
Mm.
they in turn respond to Jonah, right? And they're spared. And it also makes me think of Noah, who had been building an ark. I think we said it was like 120 years,
Mhm.
and no one no one responded to his ark building in a way that would mean they would be able to be salvaged from the situation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So I think we
yeah,
see here another call of going out, and people are going to respond or they're not,
yeah,
which is sad.
yeah. I kind of talked about it in the last episode where I was saying Abraham was able to convince all those people to be circumcised, and Lot can't even get these two boys who are supposed to marry his daughters to come with him.
Right.
And he's telling them, you need to get out of this city. Like, this city is about to be destroyed. And they're just like,
Yeah.
so God,
Yeah.
nobody cares.
Oh well. Yeah. Yep. That's it. It's crazy. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
Do we know where Lot's wife came from?
I have no clue.
'Cause she's
Have we
probably
talked
one of
about him
them,
yet?
right? Well, maybe we have. Well, he said Do you have anyone in here? Oh, they just asked, did he have son-in-laws, sons, daughters, or
Right.
anyone that you have in the city? I guess we haven't talked about her.
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
we can move on.
But I think it'll come up soon. We ready to
Mm-hmm.
go on and get to this next section?
Yes, yes. Okay,
All right.
so this is Genesis chapter 19, verses 15 to 22. Okay. As morning dawned, the angels urged Lot, saying, Up, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, lest you be swept away in the punishment of the city. But he lingered. So the men seized him and his wife and his two daughters by the hand, the Lord being merciful to him, and they brought him out and set him outside the city. And he brought them and as they brought them out, one said, Escape for your life. Do not look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Escape to the hills, lest you be swept away. And Lot said to them, Oh no, my lords. Behold, your servant has found favor. Oh wait, let me go back. Oh no, my lords. Behold, your servant has found favor in your sight, and you have shown me great kindness in saving my life. But I cannot escape to the hills, lest the disaster overtake me and I die. Behold, this city is near enough to flee to, and it is a little one. Let me escape there. Is it not a little one? And my life will be saved. He said to him, Behold, I grant you this favor also, that I will not overthrow the city of which you have spoken. Escape there quickly, for I can do nothing till you arrive there. Therefore, the name of the city was called Zoar. Zoar.
Hmm. All right. So they've been going through this all the way until the next day.
Yeah,
And the angels have to urge Lot to get out of
yeah. That's probably why the son-in-laws thought he was joking. Like, you are not serious.
there.
You seen them go blind. They telling you they're gonna destroy the city, and you still lollygagging. Like, get out.
It's
Exactly.
crazy. It's
Having to
crazy.
grab them, having to seize them, grab them by the hand, and like, how do you they have to put you on the outside of the city for you to go. They, like you said, they. How many times do I have to tell you, show you, for you to just believe it and to act according to what we're saying?
Hmm.
And then what I also found it interesting that in the angel saying, leave and go here,
Hmm.
when Lot proposed a different option and they accepted,
Yep.
I was confused because I'm like, why? If that was already an option, why didn't you propose it as an option to begin with? You said do X, and he said, "Why can't I? Can I do Y?" And you said, "Okay."
Because God is merciful.
Yeah. That I think that's it. I think that again, God is dealing with Lot as one of his own. So he's going to grant him that. And now that I think of it, I read something that said Zoar was supposed to be included in the destruction.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So now by doing that, is that not the Lord sparing a city for the righteous that he's going to put there?
Oh.
Don't know.
It
Just thought of it.
is.
But hey.
Well, it is. But at the same time, it seems like Lot. Okay, they tell him to go to the hills.
Hmm.
Is Lot lazy? Is Lot lazy? That's a real question.
It
Lot
is.
picked the land that looked the most already together.
He
I'm
did.
gonna go over there because it looks lush. I
Yep.
won't have to do too much. I'll just be able to go there, settle. I'll be able to eat good. Everything is already set over there. Now
Hmm.
they say run to the hills, and he's like, that's a long way. By the time I get there, I might get swept up too. How about I just go right here? It's just a little town. And they're like, go ahead, man. Like, just go.
Just
That's how
go.
Lot always gets That's the energy I always feel like people talk to Lot in. Like, just okay, just go,
You
Look,
must.
just go.
you're doing too much right now. Just get out the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But I think
and
because he said, by the time I get there, lest I be swept up, it seems like he's going to be moving slowly, taking his time to get to where they're saying, and they're saying, hurry up. He said, well, I can
right.
hurry over here. I can't hurry all the way over there.
But the angels themselves say, right, I can't do anything until you get there. So it almost makes it
Yeah.
feel like until Lot got where he was supposed to go, that they weren't going to do anything,
Yeah. And
right?
Lot, I guess, didn't see it that way. Lot is like, y'all are rushing me, but I can't rush. Like, I can't get there as quick as you are making it feel.
Yeah,
Hmm.
It's
that's
Lot.
crazy. That's why my note says, Lot, just go. Just
Yeah.
stop giving me so much back. Just move. Just
They're
move.
saying, escape for your life, and he's still negotiating.
Mm-mm-mm. That's crazy. It's crazy talk. Crazy talk. So, yeah. Oh, and I wanted to point out, remember all of the, I'll call it Edenic language of the Garden of Eden, when Lot made the decision as to which place to go? It
Hmm.
sounded a lot like it was shalom, a lot like it was plush, a lot like it was, you know, if you
Yeah.
wanted to have any inkling of what the garden was like, then you would go over here. And then I think towards at the end it says that this place was a wicked place to go. So
Hmm.
yeah, everything that glitters is not gold.
Hmm.
Everything that glitters is not gold. So, um, anything else here that we want to touch on?
All right. Genesis chapter 19, verses 23 to 29. The sun had risen on the earth when Lot came to Zorah. Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah sulfur and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the valley and all the inhabitants of the cities and what grew on the ground. But Lot's wife behind him looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham went early in the morning to the place where he had stood before the Lord. And he looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah and towards all the land of the valley. And he looked, and behold, the smoke of the land went up like the smoke of a furnace. So it was that when God destroyed the cities of the valley, God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow when he overthrew the cities in which Lot had lived.
Wow. So it did take Lot until the rising of the sun to get to Zoar. And
Hmm.
once he got there, sulfur and fire came down.
No surprise there.
Yeah, he said it was going to happen. He said they're going to wait.
Yeah.
What about his Lot's wife?
See what happens when you're disobedient? Didn't they say don't look back?
I think they said don't look back.
I
Let me
guess that
see.
goes back to the question of where is his wife from Sodom and Gomorrah?
Maybe.
And is she leaving behind her family? She's
Mm,
leaving with Lot, yes, but this is my home, and you're saying leave and don't look back. That's a lot to ask.
It is.
And I don't know. I feel bad for her too. I feel bad for everybody today.
Yeah. I wonder if because they didn't mention a wife, and we made a point of saying that. They said sons, daughters, sons-in-law. Then it says or anyone else. That he could have included his wife and her family, I guess, if he wanted to in that, if they would have listened.
mm,
Right? So it's almost like if that was a reason for her longing, that could have been dealt with. Because
yeah.
there didn't seem to be a limit on who he could
Yeah,
bring.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, she looked back and turned into a pillar of salt. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I'm telling you. all the mercy that the Lord has given to them. I know I'm always the one to be like, "Wow, y'all not listening." They specifically, okay. They even took y'all by the hand and put you on the outside of the city. They specifically said, "Do not look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Do
Mhm.
not." I listen. I would have had the instructions written on my hand. That's and then look at you. You were it was almost the escape was almost foolproof,
Yeah.
and you look back.
It would be
Yep.
You
hard to not look back. You're talking about sulfur and fire is falling from the sky, and I'm not supposed to look. I it's hard for me to not be nosy. I gotta take a look. I be looking. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
It's
know.
like
I
when
guess
you
it's
hear
just hard.
gunshots, you should look the other way, hide, duck. I'd be like, wait a minute, looking out the window, like, what's going on? I'm not the one to just go hide. It's like, get out the window. Like, that was that kid. If you hear a lot of commotion happening outside, parents would have to literally grab me to be like, don't stand by the window. Are you okay? Like, anything could be happening out there, and I want to see. Like,
I'm the
I just want
same
to take a
way.
peek.
That yes, my husband does. He's like, you could get in a lot of trouble being nosy. Yeah, but look, sometimes you just need to figure out what's going on. However, if I have already been in a situation where I could have, the Lord didn't have to spare them,
Mm-mm.
but He did. And not just Lot, but Lot, his wife, his children, his daughters. And then you you let your nosiness get you turned into a pillar of salt.
I mean, she
That's
didn't know what was
you
gonna
money.
happen. She heard, don't do it. But do I know what the consequences are?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you need to though? I think this really comes down to like to Jesus and where he said something to the effect, I'm a butcher the verse, but something to the effect of uh you need to love me and then hate your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, right? And when he says that, Jesus, that is, it's not meant to be like you literally hate them because that would go against, honor your father and your mother. But what it does mean is that I value, esteem, want, will follow you more so than anyone else that I have a relationship with.
Mm,
And I wonder if that's sort of in play here, where you've gotten escape, you've been shown this great mercy. Um, the Lord is doing exactly what He said He would do, so you know that He is not one to be played with.
mm.
Do you esteem Him more than anything else, than any of your other relationships? Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
wonder if
think
that's
that's
playing
hard.
into it.
Mm.
Would you say, Moy? I'm sorry.
I said I think that's hard.
It is.
It's one of those you don't know what you're gonna do unless you're in a situation.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about that all the time.
Yeah. It's easy to say I would never look back, but imagine imagine all that happening behind you.
Yeah,
That's a lot. If Abraham is where he is and he's able to look and see smoke and flames and all of that from where he is, and you're just outside of the city in a smaller city, that's hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm surprised Lot
it
and
is.
his daughters didn't look.
Yeah.
And and who told them she became a pillar of salt? Or that's just
I don't know
whoever's
if that's
writing this.
narration in that, but yeah. Uh, um, it reminds me of there's this little skit or this little thing I saw. I can't remember. I think it was Instagram, TikTok, one of those things. One of those things. The TikToks or the Instagrams. One of them. I don't
Oh
know
man.
which. Um, but it was like taking away somebody's black card. And so they put there's this one guy standing there and everybody just starts running by him. He's like, "Whoa, why is everybody running? What's going on?" And he goes to investigate, and the dude's there, like, "All right, just give me a black card. Just give it up." Because when everybody else is running, what do you do with them? You run.
Get
You
out of
don't go and
there.
investigate.
Yeah, my black card will be taken. I'm gonna either freeze or I'm gonna be looking around like, what is happening? Run is not my first instinct ever.
Mm.
Oh man. All right. So anything else here? It's really is. I mean, it's sort of sad. It's sad on the fact of what happened to Lot's wife, but it's still showing the mercy of God and how He continues to deal with those who He has chosen as His righteous people. And again, I'm saying He's righteous because that's what Peter calls him, and the fact that He's given him escape and gone through great lengths to give him escape.
Mhm.
Oh, but I also think we see um I like what's interesting is so it was in verse 29 that when God destroyed the cities of the valley, God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow.
Hmm.
So does this make you rethink the blessing of Abraham on Lot because of their relationship?
It did for me. Yeah. But I did realize, so we saw God remembered before. Was this in 37 to 50? Genesis 37 to 50. I don't remember. Like, God remembered, not saying that He ever forgot,
Right,
but
I
right.
remember
He,
Joseph.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. Like, it's, I figured that it's like when people say, off the strength of my whoever,
Hmm.
I'm gonna entertain this person. I figured it was kind of like that, like because of what was already promised to Abra- Abram, Abraham.
One and the same, whichever way
One
you
of
go with
the
the
say,
word.
yeah, because of what was promised to Abraham, we already that's why Lot has been brought out of the midst of the overthrow. That's kind of just what I figured it was. But initially, I don't know if I ever thought that Lot wasn't a part of the blessing or wasn't
Hmm.
going to reap the benefits. I don't think I ever really thought that, but here just solidified to me that, or yeah, I did think that he was being referenced because of that fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was being referenced because of his countdown. His for this many people, this many people, this many people.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because in that chapter, I thought I was saying the idea is to save Lot. Like I know we're saying it's bigger than Lot, but for Abraham, I don't think it's bigger than Lot. I
Think it
think it
was
is
just to
Lot.
get the lot.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I can see both. I'm torn between whether um, Lot is part of the God will bless those who bless you or not. Because I see Lot being recovered. I mean, King Che, who we talked about, was knocking out cities upon cities. Well, I'm sure had more people than 318. I think that was the number than Abram
Mhm.
had, right?
Mhm.
Hmm.
So, and then when he meets up with Melchizedek, we're told that Abram basically won because the Lord was with him. And then Lot gets saved to there. Here,
Yeah.
Lot is taken out of this place of overthrow. And he says right here, because God remembered Abraham. Uh, so I'm torn. I can see the blessing of Abraham sort of spilling over to Lot. Um, and I can also see the countdown, even though it wasn't done the way that Lot expected, even though Zoar seemed to be a city that was saved because he was going there and going to be there. Um, yeah, it's, or maybe the two aren't meant to be separated. Maybe they're meant to be intermingled, and that part of the blessing is that Abraham was able to speak to the Lord about the cities and how, how he would deal with them. Not that
Mhm.
the Lord would have done anything different, but yeah. So I don't know. That just came to me and it just made me think, and I wanted to get you all's take. I don't know that I have an answer or there's a right or wrong. Um. So anything else there?
Mm-mm.
All right. Genesis chapter 19, verses 30 to 38. Now Lot went up out of Zoar and lived in the hills with his two daughters, for he was afraid to live in Zoar. So he lived in a cave with his two daughters. And the firstborn said to the younger, our father is old, and there is not a man on earth to come in to us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve our offspring from our father. So they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father. He did not know when she lay down or when she arose. The next day, the firstborn said to the younger, behold, I lay last night with my father. Let us make him drink wine tonight also. Then you go in and lie with him, that we may preserve offspring from our father. So they made the father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he did not know when she lay down or when she arose. Thus, both the daughters of Lot became pregnant by their father. The firstborn bore a son and called his name Moab. He is the father of the Moabites to this day. The younger also bore a son and called his name Ben Ami. He is the father of the Ammonites to this day. Man, this seems like a really sad ending for.
Mhm.
I mean, this is just crazy. So, what about where Lot ended up? You
He
find
ends up in
anything
the
about that?
hills
Mm-hmm.
where they initially told him to go.
Mhm.
I don't see that as a bad thing because I think initially he was saying it's going to take me forever to get there. That's what it sounded like. And he was just trying to get somewhere, like settle somewhere while y'all do y'all destruction. And then while he's there, maybe the same things that were happening in Sodom and Gomorrah could be happening here. And he has that fear of, okay, I probably shouldn't be amongst these people who've been saying, why didn't he leave Sodom and Gomorrah? Why didn't he leave? And now he's like, okay, maybe I should leave. And he
Mhm.
does that. So I didn't really see it as a bad thing. It was just like we could have cut out the middleman and just went straight
Just
there.
went
But
straight there.
yeah,
Yeah. And then you bring up a good point. Maybe he did what we were talking about earlier about him not being able to take the wickedness of the city. Yeah, maybe that is what happened. I was thinking that maybe it was he's shell shocked from what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah, and so he's like it can happen to any city at any time. So let me go to the caves where I
Mm.
feel safe.
mm,
Um, but I kind of like the idea that well, I would like to hope that Lot was like, yeah, I can't take this.
yeah,
All right, so now we got to deal with the whole daughter father thing.
This is
What's
awfully
up with this?
familiar.
What was that?
This is awfully familiar.
What's up with these older siblings coming up with these crazy plans that just don't make no sense? What does
mm,
you say it's familiar because of something we've talked about already, Jasmine?
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of Tamar a little bit, but I think that it's an off the wall plan. Okay, I'll put that out there first. But I also see, okay, so they're saying there is not a man on earth to come into us after the manner of all the earth. So they're like, who's going to father children for us? We're just going to be we're just gonna be out here without a man. And I think that because we know about those times, that was scary for the women. Like, I'm not gonna have I'm not gonna have a husband or children.
Right.
So I'm seeing like desperation, which I feel like we also saw with Tamar. But these extreme circumstances, like get him drunk, go lay in his bed, guys. What are we doing? It's just getting a little ridiculous. It's getting a little crazy now. I was confused, and I think it's the language that had me confused. Because when it says, so they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went to lay with her father, he did not know when she laid down or when she arose. We don't get, or maybe we do, but I just didn't understand the language that anything ever happened. So I was confused when they ended up pregnant. I
Oh, okay. Yeah,
didn't understand that part.
I think by them saying lay down and arose that they are insinuating that something happened. And I think by the finality of them being pregnant, both of them, that something happened at that time.
He didn't
Yeah.
know those were his daughters.
I don't, but I
He
think
didn't
they're
know what
trying to,
was happening is what they're,
right,
yeah, I would say he didn't know what was even happening. They're saying he was
right.
so drunk that he didn't even know anything happened to him.
Yep. Which is different from Noah, which is interesting to me. Noah somehow
Mhm.
knew. Here, Lot had no clue.
How
Hmm.
drunk do you have to be?
I don't know.
Right.
And who do you not as Lot like what happened to you two? Why are you looking like that? What's
Yeah.
going on? I haven't seen no guys around here. You know?
And we don't know the end story because Lot's story is like we. This is another one of those we need to talk to Lot.
Yeah.
What happened? Like, what were you drinking?
Right.
And how
So,
was the conversation after the fact? Did your daughters tell you they your kids? Did they make up another story to be
right.
like,
Yep.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just it just seems like such because I don't think we hear anything else about Lot. At least I can't remember of anything else in Lot as we go forward.
Mm-mm.
If we do, I'll stand corrected. But if this is the last we hear about Lot, it just seems like it's just really, really sad the way
Hmm.
everything sort of came together or fell apart,
Yeah.
depending on which way you want to go.
Hmm.
Oh boy. Hey, but we know where Ruth came from,
Yeah.
the Moabites.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I talked about this in that in our Root season, and I was like, oh, we might go over it. And look at us going over it.
Yeah, going over it. With this, yeah. I think when you said it, you were excited. Now I think everybody's like, "Oh gosh, Lot, what's? Oh
No,
man,
no. And I said it, I was like, it's a crazy story, but this is what happened, and this is how we get the Moabites.
okay,
Mm.
And it's still a crazy
good
story.
story. It definitely is. So, so anything else about Lot or this ending or these verses that we need to touch on?
No, I thought this was so interesting. I didn't know Lot as a character before now.
Mhm.
Before like we read these chapters. So learning about him and how he ties into like the bigger story of Abraham was interesting for me. Up until this point, I'm still very interested. It got spicy at the
It gets
end.
spicy at the end, and
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna have some more interesting. I think that there'll be brighter times in the future. So excited to get to those as well.
Yeah.
So I think one of the big takeaways from this is again the mercy of God and His treatment of Lot. We've seen how the Lord over and over again allowed His messengers to bring Lot out of a place that was wicked and then to get him to safety. Um, I think that's the desire that the Lord has for all people, that He wants them to a place of safety. And realistically, there's no safety that can be found in this world now. What we look forward to as believers is safety that happens in the hereafter, in eternity. So the issue with that is that the only way to obtain eternity is through Jesus. It says John 14:6, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes unto the Father but by me. So to get to that place of safety, and it's equated in the New Testament to those 8 souls on the ark who were protected and carried through the waters of the flood until the point where they were able to leave, getting them to safety. There's none other that can do it for us than Jesus. There's no other um, way that we can approach God. There's no other way that we can have safety in the Lord. There's no other way that we can deal and be ready for eternity and an eternal life with the Lord apart from Jesus. So, what we urge here at Generational Scriptures is for you to believe in the gospel of Jesus Christ, because by believing in that gospel of Jesus Christ, you are now part of the way of Jesus, where you now get to come unto the Father through or by Him. So we ask and urge you to believe that Jesus Christ died for your sins, according to the scripture, that he was buried, but on the third day he was raised by the same power and the Holy Spirit that will raise us in the last times, such that we might be able to experience the awesomeness of Jesus Christ forever with the uh, plethora of people from different tribes, tongues, nations, and we'll all be singing in one wonderful chorus. Hallelujah, Hosanna, holy, 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 all of those things. And it's a time that we will be able to look forward to. But first, you need to believe here. This is a time that you have. And presentations may have been made to you over and over and over again, just like we saw with Lot. Lot, leave. No, I want to stay. Lot, we're going to take you by the hand and get you out of here. There have been concessions and things done to help bring you, to woo you, to bring you to Christ and create a way for you. And our hope is that you don't ignore the one way that's been created, that we all have access to, which is through none other than Jesus. All right. So again, thank you for watching. I thank my co-hosts, the microwaver, Miss Jasmine, and the resident millennial, Miss Moyo. Thank you all. Appreciate you all. We are Generational Scriptures. That is Genesis chapter 19. It's raining sulfur and fire. And we out of here. Deuces.